Hey everyone, welcome back to the IWP Network, or if it's your first time, welcome hanging out with us. Thank you so much for choosing this podcast, and feedback is always welcome. So make sure to check the links below for all social media links, audio and video versions of this show, and merch. We look forward to hearing from you and hearing that feedback, and enjoy the show.
Hey everyone! Whoa, you guys there?
No, I'm here.
There's a weird little echo there. So we are here, the first ever Patreon episode for Tornado Tag Podcast. So we're gonna change something up. They will no longer be live because it is a little difficult to have guests back. So I think we're gonna do it just like this for all the Patreon. I don't think they're gonna be live. I think they're gonna be up later.
That's usually how all the big podcasts handle.
Yeah, I think you'll get better quality, and we can do cool things like put the music and stuff in there. We'll just do this is the way the Patreon is going to go down. So it won't be live. We won't be interact with you guys, but that's cool.
Bonus show. We gotta come up with a wrestling like bonus. You know, like a pay-per-view name.
It's a dark match.
Yeah,
an event.
Yeah.
This is our dark match. This is the PPW dark.
It's like WrestleMania 12 when Girl Monsoon let the match go on extra.
Yeah,
because the Iron Man match ended in a tie.
Yep.
It's called 5 more minutes, but it's probably gonna be longer than 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 more minutes.
So this Patreon is going to be a lot of us just kind of bantering about what's going on in professional wrestling. What we like, what we don't like. We're not going to do a weekly like this is what happened this week. We're not doing like a review show.
Only if you pay $20.
Yeah.
If you pay $100, no.
Look, if you pay $100, I'll go to your house and watch wrestling with you.
Yeah.
I'll give you a live podcast.
Yeah. I was thinking eventually we'd like to do some watch-alongs. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we are gonna do watch-alongs. That is gonna be possibly the next Patreon. We are gonna try to add some shows. Probably not this weekend or next weekend, but the weekend after. We'll probably the beginning of February. We'll try to sneak in a couple episodes, like an episode here or there. It may vary if Andy can't make it or if Austin's not available. Maybe me and Brian just doing like a review of an indie show or vice versa. But
you and me by ourselves talking about an indie show, that would never happen.
Yeah. Well, we kept saying for a while that we're going to recreate the car ride homes, and I do want to do that. So just kind of behind the curtain here, we're going to pull back a little bit. Got a new job, so that's why these shows aren't weekly. And I feel like it wasn't done intentionally. It just the way the shows were kind of working is not cool. And not cool, and the other shows feel like they were getting more of a push. In this like it's been a while since I feel like we recorded Tornado Tag. Like we did Undertaker, and then we're back now with this one. Maybe it's just me mentally because I'm so used to doing weekly, and now it's like once a month. It's different for me.
A lot happens in wrestling.
Yeah, and I don't want to feel I don't want this show to take a negative hit on that. So I do want to possibly add an episode here or there, like give it like 2 or 3, not weekly. We'll definitely not be weekly again, but we will definitely try to do at least two a month to keep you guys over. It does work because we are doing more or less wrestling stories and not so much weekly content. So it does pan out. So yeah. So first off, a lot's been going on in wrestling. So if you're going to timestamp this, obviously this is the week before Royal Rumble 2021. So we'll do a little bit of predictions of what we think will happen there. But lead up to this, what are you guys currently watching when it comes to professional wrestling? I'll start with you, Andy.
I did watch Raw for the past 2 weeks, and it is god awful, except for the AJ versus Ricochet match. That was pretty good.
Okay.
And the finish was cool. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
When he threw Ricochet on the ropes, he bounced back and gave the Styles catch. That was really good. AEW, NXT.
What would you say is your top show right now?
Dynamite.
Dynamite?
Yeah.
Okay.
NXT to me is getting a little too much like Raw Jr., where they're coming out and talking a promo, and then someone else's music comes out and they talk, and then their person comes out and talk. It's like, just matches. Please, just matches.
They're having a hard time with their promos. NXT did do a thing where I thought they told the stories in the ring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's kind of like, we don't need 3 shows to be all the same. One can be a little bit different.
Yeah. Brian, what are you currently into? What are you watching to kind of so we all know where we stand?
Wrestling Challenge on the WWE Network.
Ah,
I love it.
Yeah.
No, I mean for the current stuff, I watch Raw passively. I do watch Raw every week, but I watch it while I'm doing my notes for the other podcast I do, that's very note intensive. I kind of read a very loose script and it's long and it takes a while to do. So I'll be like I'll have Raw in the background. I'll be reading about like serial killers and then cobbling together like who they killed and it'd be funny if they all like, and then they kind of mix together when Randy Orton and The Fiend come out, and it's kind of both the same at the same time.
Well,
Yeah.
Raw's killing the ratings, not the good way.
Yeah. Hey Heidi, we're doing the Patreon, so you're good.
Heidi exists.
Yeah, there she is. Want to come and say hi? No? Okay. So Austin, what about you?
All right, so I guess like my entire winter break after my fall semester ended, I watched Raw and SmackDown consistently, and I watched the whole show. I'd sit down usually with both of my parents and watch all of it, just Raw and SmackDown, very, very often. And like I've enjoyed everything I've been watching on Raw and SmackDown. Like a lot of the story work on SmackDown's been fun. I've been loving Sami Zayn's like character on SmackDown, him now having a camera crew. But the last thing I actively searched out on the network, besides watching Rumbles, I watched Ted DiBiase on Mid-South Wrestling turn on Junkyard Dog in '82. It was a loser leaves, or if Ted DiBiase lost, he had to like leave Mid-South and never come back. But if he won, he beat his friend JYD for the title.
This wasn't a match with the gorilla, was it? No, it was a tag match.
No, this is a one-on-one, and they go outside. JYD like lets Ted DiBiase get in the ring very politely. Ref's holding the rope open for JYD. DiBiase loads a glove, bop JYD. And that's the finish. And it was like Ted DiBiase turning on his like lifetime friend at that point to win the title to make sure he could stay in the NWA.
Mid-South.
Yes, Mid-South.
He didn't have the $1 million dream at the time. He had the black loaded glove.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why everyone praises Mid-South, because the booking is very easy to follow. And you know who's good, you know who's bad, and you know why they want to wrestle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think he's mad because the guy's possessed because he's dead, but I don't know.
And if Alexa Bliss puts on black eyeshadow and lipstick, she has magic powers.
Well, that's because she's possessed.
Oh boy.
Oh, mute that. She's possessed
Yeah, that might have been me. I'm sorry.
by the spirit of the Fiend. So the Fiend could possibly win both the men's and the women's Rumble.
Because it's an entity.
Yes. How about it?
I could go for the Fiend against Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. That'd be good.
That's my pick. I know we're gonna jump the gun. My pick is the Fiend and Alexa Bliss win both Royal Rumbles.
Oh yeah.
That's
I
something
could
I haven't considered, but that would be good to an extent, depending if you like the Fiend.
And the way the Fiend, he's like number 30, and then like they cut to a cinematic match, and like everything's all burnt. Everything's all burnt, and then he comes out, and then he like throws everybody out, and then goes back to normal, just like how Alexa.
No, he should come out on a bike with a skull and his head is on fire. Or did Nick Cage already do that?
Yeah.
Johnny Blaze was one of John Morrison's earlier names. You can't do that.
I've been watching everything not everything. I've been watching.
Yeah, I have too. Yeah.
Raw and SmackDown consistently. I've been watching NXT AEW. I have not been watching any Impact. I keep saying I'm going to get into New Japan every cup, and I never do. I gotta pick that up. So I think probably shouldn't say this, but it's Patreon. But like, if like I like somebody has New Japan, right, and then I have Independent Wrestling TV, I think we're just gonna like if you have it, we can share the accounts and stuff, so we can kind of help each other out. But that's kind of my next move. I want to start watching a little more. But I mean, I think what's awful on Raw is awful, and it foreshadows the decent stuff. Like there is stuff on Raw that I look forward to, but the stuff that they're pushing the hardest is the stuff that for me is just like, you know what I mean? Like
I think for me, the stuff that it's not that the stuff is necessarily bad. It's that even the stuff that's good, it's the same. They kind of do the same thing every week.
Yeah,
That's fair.
It seems like they're trying to put content out, but they're not trying to they're not showing their best hand because they know they don't have a live audience.
Quantity over quality.
And you can tell that they want to do things, but they're holding back because they don't want that big moment to be in front of nobody.
I mean, maybe, but like even before the
like Raw and SmackDown are two completely different shows, and what's the disconnect? Like SmackDown's enjoyable.
Yeah, SmackDown is much, and it's not just because it's 2 hours. Because if Raw was 2 hours, it would still suck. It'd just be 2 hours of suck instead of 3 hours of suck.
Yeah,
I don't know why SmackDown's a little bit better.
Yeah, I don't.
It's like Miz and Morrison came out, and that was fucking insufferable. I was like, they were just talking. I was like, oh, and Gilbert comes out like, oh no, I fast forward. I don't care.
Yeah,
I think SmackDown just has characters. You're looking forward to seeing Roman and Heyman. You're looking forward to seeing Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Who are you looking forward to seeing when you watch Raw?
I mean, I would really
I'm watching Raw tonight to see blank.
Yeah,
I would love if they took Miz and Morrison more seriously and they stopped being goofballs. I think they're both very talented.
They're like annoying, and it's that annoying level where you're like,
because
I don't want to boo you.
Yeah,
I just want you to go.
Because even if they cash in, it's not even good heel heat anymore. It's just like, it's like, and I like the Miz. As a human being, if there's anyone on that roster who deserves the world title after everything he's ever done in his career right now, like having kids, never taken time off, never been seriously injured, like work through everything, like always there. Anytime you need him to step up, he does it. Any angle you ask him to do, he'll do it, even if it's stupid. Like, as a human, the Miz should be your world champion. Like, he deserves to get that, like, you know what I mean?
I mean,
not a long, like,
he's a company guy and he'll do anything you want, but
I think he already got that run. He got that run when he did the Money in the Bank last time.
Yeah, and he main event. If there's ever a time to put the world title on him, it was when he was with Maurice feud with John Cena and Nick Bella.
There's no way that they force the briefcase off Otis, then he loses the briefcase, then to give a stipulation that he keeps it for him to lose it again. It makes no sense.
It's insulting.
Yeah, it is insulting. So a lot of people say the Money in the Bank died when Miz cashed in but didn't and then got it back.
Yeah,
you know,
if he.
I thought it died when Otis got it, actually.
Yeah,
if this cash-in's not
an alligator should have eaten it in the swamp fight.
Do it for a year or two.
Yeah. If this cash-in is not successful, it's really hard to justify the Money in the Bank.
It's clearly there was no plan.
Now hold on a second. We have seen since pretty much the birth of Money in the Bank that just about every year, at first it was a almost guaranteed WWE Championship win. Then it got to a point where they were starting to make it like, okay, maybe it won't be a guarantee. But the way they went about doing that is they did it back to back to back. Like they had like weird cash-ins happen like very soon after each other instead of spacing it out and making the losses feel special.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay if people lose sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you should always win.
The Baron Corbin was a flop. The Braun Strowman one was a flop. Like the last 4 years or 5 times.
The Brock one was probably the best in recent years.
Yeah.
And everyone thought, oh, Brock when it came out the boombox, and I was like, okay, what now?
But it was annoying because he was
the minute was. I thought Bayley's was really good in the women's side.
Bayley's was good. I mean, the Asuka one wasn't amazing, but it made sense because she had to go have a kid.
At least it doesn't insult your intelligence.
But it also made a really good moment that was a legit, like she didn't know she was winning the title that night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But like the Ambrose one, when all three members of the Shield held the title on the same night, like there's just been a bunch of years in a row where it's like you either know exactly what's going to happen with the Money in the Bank, or it's someone, because like the original purpose of it was pushing stars who weren't stars yet.
Yeah.
Like Punk, Weiss, Dolph, Edge, like it did its job for a while, and then they completely abandoned it.
I liked when it was the guy that you want to get the belt is getting Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Oh, that was going to happen. Like
or a heel, or a heel that they're trying to elevate.
Yeah. If you weren't not using him at all, if Aleister Black won Money in the Bank this year, that would have been so much better.
Yeah.
Let's not say Zelina left and blah blah blah. Let's say they actually wanted to use him and he won Money in the Bank. Then it's like obviously there was no plan with Otis. So it's like, wouldn't it be funny if we put on Otis? God damn, that'd be great.
Yeah. Like even if it goes to Baron at this point, I think he's done enough from like a heel perspective and like a consistency perspective, in which I would understand if they gave him the Money in the Bank, because he'd actually be able to like do stuff around it. But like with the Otis one, I wanted him to win, but only if they were gonna like go full in on the storyline and then completely abandon everything.
Either have him win the title or have him lose the Money in the Bank. But you can't say they plan a year out. Oh, we're gonna have Otis win it, and then he's going to lose it to the Miz, and the Miz is going to cash it in, but not really, and then he's going to get it back, and then Otis is going to feud with his partner because his partner's going to turn on him, then his partner's going to look like a jabroni, and we're never going to use his partner again.
Yeah.
Or Otis again for that matter.
Yeah.
And now I feel like if Miz does win, it's eventually gonna, because he's kind of shown that he's starting to crack with Morrison continuously being a goof because Miz wants to be taken seriously. So I think eventually, if Miz does win, we're gonna see Miz versus Morrison.
I think you might see Morrison cost the Miz the cash in, and that's the breakup.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I just don't see the Miz with the world title anytime soon. Like, because you don't want to hurt Drew, you don't want to hurt. I don't think Goldberg's winning. Spoiler. I know we're going to be doing predictions here. You're probably going to want it with Drew and Brock again, maybe. At Mania, I don't see where Miz fits in on that. Miz isn't cashing in on Brock. I don't think Miz should cash in on Drew. If your champion was like, somebody a little more like AJ Styles, even though he's a top level guy, or a Seth Rollins, he's not a monster. Yeah, the Miz is okay beating that guy. I don't think he's okay beating Lesnar or Drew.
Yeah, unless someone's like they're beat up because let's say Brock beats up Drew, right? And then Drew's laying there, and then the Miz capitalizes. That's the only way I really see him winning the title.
Yeah,
but I don't want. They should just when he cashed in, lost, get rid of it.
Yeah,
and then maybe even take a year off because it's
that in the Hell in the Cell. Maybe take a break.
Hell in the Cell. I would get rid of that pay-per-view and only have that match once every couple years.
Yeah.
I think Money in the Bank also is especially doomed now because the big thing is the pop when you do the cash in, and you don't have that right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think the last cash that I seen that was actually fun was probably Seth Rollins.
I'm trying to think.
The heist of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
The Bailey one was fun if you're going women.
Yeah, Bailey. Yeah. All right. So let's is there all right, so NXT AEW. We'll go to the Wednesday Night Wars here. So obviously, when it comes to those two shows, we are saying that maybe NXT's in a weird spot right now where you would say your superstars, like, would you think that your Gargano and your Ciampas wouldn't be your main draws?
Yeah.
Like it's an interesting spot, and they are trying to give other guys pushes and attention, which has maybe hindered them a little bit in their ratings because obviously if you put Jericho the main event on AEW and then your main event at NXT is like Damian Priest versus this guy, you're like, I'm not what I'm
gonna draw factor.
Yeah. But I also think if you go and look at some guys, I mean, for our awards, we gave Damian Priest most improved. Like they gave him the ball, and I think he did very well with it. So NXT's in a weird spot where they are giving people pushes. Like Shotzi Blackheart had a great year this year when it came to that. Raquel Gonzalez,
yeah,
she had
a lot better,
and she's in a division where NXT's women's division is fantastic, and she's been a bright spot. So where it comes, maybe not the glitz and the glam of Ciampa's doing what he wants when it comes to he doesn't need a belt to be over, and just have him do this really cool stuff that he's doing. NXT's in a weird spot. Like I said, they're not trying to push their guys that they should possibly be pushing to the moon, and they're giving other people opportunities, which you
have to do in any wrestling.
Yeah,
event.
which I think they're doing they're doing a good job at it.
I think a big problem they have right now is the Dusty Classic, just especially early rounds, is going to force you to put people who probably shouldn't be on TV. They are doing some of them on 205 Live, which is good, but
yeah,
it's like, who's really that invested in the Dusty Classic?
Johnny Gargano on 205 Live, didn't they?
Did they? I didn't know it was on, to be honest with you.
No, they were on TV this week. It was him and it was Gargano and Austin Theory against Leon Ruff and Kushida. I think they put somebody was on 205 Live though, like Drake Maverick and Killian Dane or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're doing like the Dusty Classic, the women, men and women. So there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of two tournaments at once. I don't like you shouldn't do, even though it's like the men's and the women's. I don't know if doing two tournaments at once is a good idea. Yeah, maybe do the women's then the men's. Yeah.
Bailey she took a photo on Instagram, but
I think she was just showing she was there. They did the bracket. She's not in it. Not that means anything.
Oh, I thought maybe she was.
Unless someone gets hurt or somebody's hurt.
Well, they already, and I don't know if they were doing it for both sides. They already did an angle where there was one team was Ashante the Adonis and somebody else. They advanced. They won on 205 Live, and then he got hurt by Karrion Kross on NXT this week, so they're out. And now, like after the pit fight thing, like Ciampa respects Thatcher now, so now Ciampa and Thatcher are in the Dusty Classic, and they're probably going to win it, I think. Because they always have that patchwork team win the Dusty Classic every year.
That's a trope that WWE is too hardcore on, the tag team that don't like each other, but they still work.
I mean, that's all of like WWE tag team booking in a nutshell.
Right now, yeah. And it's like,
is there anything before we go on? Is there anything else main roster that you're excited about before we go into Rumble predictions or anything?
I am excited about what they're doing with Apollo Crews. I really liked his match with Big E where they did the false finish. It was kind of sloppy, but still worked. And then they restarted the match, and it was just like 2 6-minute segments of them having a good match for the Intercontinental Championship. So pretty much just anything involving the IC title right now is fun.
And if he turns heel, it's a heel turn that makes perfect sense. He feels slighted. He feels like I've been pushed to this. Yeah, I like what they're doing. SmackDown has been the strong point. Yeah, I like what they're doing with Apollo.
I heard Daniel Bryan versus Cesaro last week.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get to watch it.
Possibly the tear up of Cesaro and Nakamura.
Well, they're both. Cesaro. Yeah, Nakamura's a babyface now.
It's short lived. He got his old music back.
Yeah. Which here's the interesting thing with that. He got his music taken away because the people who had it, they didn't have the rights to it.
No,
right?
no, he got.
They parted ways with CFOs, but I think they're using some CFOs.
Wasn't he part of the CFO thing?
He should be, but his other music was remixed, where it was just the rapping over it.
I understand, but like Ember Moon lost her music.
Yeah,
a lot of people lost their music because they were part of that CFO thing.
Yeah, so I would assume.
Does that mean maybe we get music back for people that?
I would hope so.
Because please bring back Ember Moon's original music. That shit was awesome. I don't know her new music.
That's the tag team in the women's classic. I'm excited to see is Ember Moon and Shotzi. That's gonna be a fun team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
come up with like a nice monster name.
Yeah, I will say this for how like story wise, and maybe it's been lacking here and there. I'm actually looking more forward to WrestleMania this year and going through Rumble, because there's some storylines that I think are really, really interesting that can play out after this pay-per-view. Like, I think this has a potential to be, if they do it right, a big pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think if they have some returns and have some big things happen, that the Rumble can make you more excited for.
Yeah. Plus, the Rumble itself is always the interesting factor. I'm more excited to watch Royal Rumble than WrestleMania, because I'm just going to assume that wherever I want them to go, they will go a different way. And
yeah,
and now it's going to be 2 nights again. WrestleMania is going to be 2 nights this year.
Yeah, I think
with a crowd. That's going to be the fun thing, with a crowd for the first time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they announced the next 2 years after that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this year,
Hollywood.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's like 20 minutes away from Dallas. No, it really is. Like, that was a thing. A lot of people, like, I knew people that were down in Dallas for 32, and all the hotel, all the WrestleCon, all that stuff was in Dallas. And then for WrestleMania, they like go all the way down the highway to Arlington, which is like it's like a 20-30 minute ride to get to the stadium where Mania was, and everything else, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, everything was in Dallas. Yeah. With what they said with the Mania this year, there will be a crowd, but it's like a 60,000-70,000 capacity stadium, and they're going to do 25,000, which I think is what the Super Bowl's doing in the same building. And it's going to be even more spread out for wrestling because you have the floor.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're doing the same thing, because I know what the Super Bowl's doing. Like, of those 25,000, 7,000 are going to be free tickets for like first responders who already have the vaccine.
That's cool. Real quick, I want to do a quick shout out and thank you to the PA Apology podcast. Just subscribe to our Patreon.
Oh, thank you.
Hey. Thank you so much. So, and they also have a Patreon, so I will probably just give them their $5 back and subscribe to theirs. Yeah. I'll probably subscribe to them and give them their. I think their subscription is $3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'll probably give them $3 of their dollars back and show them some love. I was gonna do that anyways, but they kind of beat me to it. So you guys look like.
Tell them.
Sure, yeah. I'm telling you. You guys know. No, it's all love. Those guys are good dudes. Part of our little podcast wrestling family. But thank you guys for supporting the Patreon, and I hope you enjoy the bonus content.
That is $1 a show for them. They have 3 shows going right now, right?
Yeah, they split their show up into 3. So instead of doing everything crammed in, they do. It's called Alpha, and that is their review of Raw and SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just Chad Gable matches.
Yeah. Then they do Tomorrow, which is NXT, all NXTs, UK, NXT. I think that's just what it is, just the NXT shows. And then Beyond is anything outside of WB. So AEW, Impact, New Japan Wrestling, and Independence. I like the Beyond. I think their chemistry with those 3 is really good. I like Tomorrow a lot. I think their chemistry is good. Alpha is good. I just think I think they have two guys that are not like one or two guys that are kind of new to the mix. I think they have to just figure out each other's flow, but I think they're good. I think they're fun. Maybe one guy needs a little bit of help with his audio.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but I think it's a good show. I think they do a good job. Our audio is a little wacky today. It's a little bit of an echo on the guys coming in through the conference call. It's not terrible, I hope. No, but
they are in Carnegie Hall. Right?
Yeah, yeah. And we're still trying to figure out why it's doing that. It's a new mixer, so let us work out our kinks. If it's obviously something that's that terrible,
you get the Carnegie Hall, right?
I don't know.
Practice.
That's right.
I don't get that.
So AEW.
You practice to get the be good, and then you get the Carnegie Hall. That's some reference.
Maybe one day will be good. But
I'm
yeah,
not good.
so
That would have been good already.
Listen, don't put your own show down. You really going to rant right now?
No. No, don't.
So the
Dynamite.
I would say that NXT, I think, is putting on best. Now, this isn't the golden rule, but I think NXT is putting on a better wrestling show when it comes to when they finally get to the ring and the work they put in.
Better
ring.
matches.
Better matches. Okay. Like the match quality is really good. Where I think AEW has maybe one good banger, and you can definitely tell that it's still some independent guys working with some high talent guys.
Yeah, not that AEW. I feel that overall it's the better show. But not that every match is great, not that every storyline is great. Like Jade Cargill, fucking horrible. She comes out, she looks like she has all this like charisma and stuff, and then she holds the mic like this, and it's over here, and you can't understand her.
Yeah.
And then it's like, wait, Cody, you're feuding with Shaq, but you're also gonna feud with Sting.
She's hot though.
But your wife, yeah, she's hot, but who cares? You can get a hot chick, whatever. And you're also feuding with like what Darby Allin, kinda, but you're gonna wrestle Shaq. But Brandy's gonna wrestle this girl, but she's pregnant. What? So I mean that doesn't make any sense.
Cody's trying to he's
too much.
He's putting too much out there. Yeah. Maybe Cody needs help soon. Maybe that's
yeah. And then, well, the little red velvet came out. She looks like a mini Brandy. I'm like, that wasn't a good person to use.
Yeah.
But there's good. I like Kenny's heel turn. I think Don Callis is fantastic. Cuts great promos.
Yeah.
The thing with Impact's good. Private Party was on Impact now, which they need because they need some work. That 6-man this week was not good. It was very sloppy.
Now, here's the thing too. Now, obviously, this is something that would be more geared towards someone who's a worker. WWE is known for having a certain style of match, and then a lot of people who are good somewhere else have a hard time going to WWE because they're kind of limited to what they can do, and they can only do certain things. And there's certain ways that you have to hit the ropes and hit the rings. It's all very fine tuned to WWE style. So do you think maybe because AEW kind of gives you so much free will that certain guys aren't used to certain guys, and that's where you're getting your sloppiness and your botches, where it's not as fine tuned?
The sloppiness is just being green, and green is not a time limit. It's just you're not there yet, just experience wise.
Yeah, but so a lot of these guys are just trying to like when you go to an indie show, you're literally on the fly and the guy in the back like, hey, we're gonna do this, and it seems like that's what AEW is doing because they don't have those dark matches.
But they have time beforehand where they could go over stuff or hey, I want to practice this move. It's just guys that like no one's saying, hey, don't do that, or others are like, hey, here's your match, and then they don't really like. There's an agent that's supposed to do all that, like. You know, this agent said, hey, did you do that before? No, we never did before. Well, maybe you want to try it before you do it on national television.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like some things like you see Private Party where they just like go do move and they kind of like freeze and like they get lost.
And their finishers is not like it's easy to do.
Yeah, and it kind of looks really bad. If I would cut, especially now with their heels, get rid of that.
When it's done good, it looks good. But when it's not done well, it's like, oh, you're gonna kill somebody.
And they wrestled the top flight guys, and they're green, but they're 19 and 20. So I mean. If they had a training place, if they had somewhere to go wrestle to get better, and I know it's hard right now. That's what they really benefit from. Like they should be on Dark every week and getting better.
Yeah,
that's how you get better. Wrestle more. But that's why I think the AEW like you can wrestle two different styles. Like New Japan bring somebody in, wrestle totally different, and the match is good. It's just that the greenness and maybe like I don't know, maybe
trying shit on the fly.
Yeah, and clashing maybe I don't know because like you could put like I'm sure if Matt Sydal wrestled. Moxley would be good.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, yeah, they both were in WWE. So if Darby Allin wrestled MJF, that would be pretty good. So, you know.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything you want to add to that or?
It just seems to me like AEW is really good at keeping like 2 or 3 people hot. Like now it's Kenny, Moxley, really just those two. And for the rest, it just kind of gets muddled. Like the inner circle stuff is muddled it's like Jericho. I understand you can't have everybody be a main eventer, but like Jericho's like a mid card comedy guy now.
Yeah,
Miro's like everybody. It seems like everybody but Kenny Omega and Moxley is very interchangeable at this point.
Yeah, no, that's accurate. I feel like their mid card title is like less meaningful than any mid card title in WWE now. Like just with how you were saying, how no one feels like there's any difference in their character's worth or their wrestler's worth at that point. It just doesn't. It's hard to get into like the middle parts of their show at times, but like main event wise, they look like you had just said they really do bring the dynamite or the thunder. But yeah, no, like the Kenny stuff
soon.
yeah. But yeah, no, like the Bullet Club stuff is just like, because like that's what originally like got me into wrestling. Like when I saw the clips of Kenny Omega taking a back bump out of the ring through a table at Wrestle Kingdom, like that's when I started watching again. And that's what got me interested in so much more than outside of WWE. So it's cool seeing that like being now promoted as like a huge story in wrestling right now.
Yeah, no, the Kenny stuff has been wonderful. Kenny has been good. I like the Dark Order stuff has been fun.
Now, are you a fan of them still using Brody Little Jr.? Because a lot of people on the internet are being really fucking dark assholes.
Yeah, it should be that. I don't think he should be a recurring character. I understand you want to do stuff for the
I'm fine if you want to throw him in BTE, like to throw on the papers and stuff. I was fine with this because it was fun and it was kind of. Yeah, it was fine. And even like my birthday was 3 days ago. Like,
that was fun.
I thought it was fine this week just because, like, I think it made the payoff of Hangman saying no, I don't want to join better. And like, I think like it's almost like, oh, he's got to say yes. The kid's there. Like, no, I don't want to. So I thought that was fine. Now, I don't think he should be an every week character. I think it's wonderful that they're being so supportive of the family and that that they're doing everything they can to help them out, and that's a great thing. But I mean, it's one of those things where, in perspective, if WWE was doing it, they'd be like, "Why are they exploiting his family?"
Yeah.
And so I mean, there's a line. If you want to keep them on like BTE and like show them in the crowd and stuff like that, but I don't want them. I don't know if they should be like an every week feature.
Yeah, because it's going to get to a point where, are you just going to do this for the next 10 years of his life?
Yeah, until he gets old enough to wrestle. It's like
Or he's like, he just like gets a girlfriend like, I don't want to do wrestling. Where wrestling's done.
Yeah.
And they're like, you have a contract, kid.
Same thing. Just like Sting shouldn't be on every week, especially like he was coming out for a week there and just pointing the bat. It's like,
just he comes out and points at Taz. That's Sting every week.
Yeah. Sting. What? Sorry, Sting doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, but you never seen Sting wrestle. That's why we got to do watch along where Sting have a good match.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a watch along of the Beach Blast where he wrestles Cactus in the Falls Count Anywhere match.
I watched some older. I watched the old Stinger, and then I watched NWO Sting.
Okay.
And you know what I see when
be specific, not NWO Sting, because that was a different Sting.
Thing.
Because there was NWO Sting, and he was not very good.
I watched him when he was in Thunder and Lightning, and when
he
reminds
me a lot of. I'm not saying he's not good.
Mm-hmm.
He's very, very talented. He's a very good wrestler. But
that was Dasher Hatfield.
Yeah.
He reminds me a lot of Bret Hart.
Well, take away
just like they're very just technically sound. Like he does a little bit of high flying.
Bret's way better than Sting in the ring.
Yeah. I think Sting is more of a flashy because of the Stinger splash. You know, the woo, the colors.
Yeah, but I mean, like he's flashy, but he's like I don't want to use the wrong term. Like I don't want to say robotic or stiff, but he's more of like he's not flash. He's not as nimble as and flying as like a Shawn Michaels.
Oh no,
he's not as good as Shawn.
But he's like if Bret Hart was a high flyer.
Okay,
like that's where he kind of falls for me.
I think what you're saying,
a way better wrestler than Sting.
I know. I think I understand what you're saying, in which it's like the way he looks doesn't necessarily match how he's wrestling. Like something just isn't good enough to where he should be doing like that style. You would probably like him better if he were doing a style that made more sense for him, I guess.
The guy who's actually a lot like Sting is John Cena.
Okay.
John Cena had more like a superstar thing, but bell to bell, it's John Cena. There's some clunkiness there, but they know how to sell a big match. They know how to do it. And with Sting, it was always the image. It was always the crowd. Like, Sting was never Sting was never at the same level ring wise as like Ric Flair or Bret or Shawn, but he wasn't like the Ultimate Warrior.
No.
Yeah, it's he. I don't know. He falls in a weird category. I definitely he's not as good as Bret Hart, but he just doesn't. He's never done it for me, which is weird because you would think a guy with face paint and stuff I'd be all about because I like that crampy stuff. But I don't know. He just never grabbed me. But
can I ask an honest question, Tony? Did anybody that was mainly a WCW guy ever like do it for you?
I really, really enjoyed the Flock. I really enjoyed DDP.
Raven's an ECW guy. Okay, DDP. Yeah. There you go. All right.
Yeah. But I mean, I didn't know Raven until I seen him in WCW. Like the video game, all of the lucha stuff in WCW, I enjoyed.
Okay.
And going back and watching, I liked.
Revenge, Sting was like one of the popular characters. I want to be Sting.
I never wanted.
I want to do the death
I
drop.
never picked Sting.
Yeah, they do it. They do the whisper in the ear and then snap you with the death.
The whisper in the ear was cool. I did like that.
They put that in the game.
So like we played the video game. I gravitated to
Macho.
The Macho Man, yeah. But I gravitate to the Luchadors. I'd gravitate towards Glacier.
Aki Man, baby. Aki Man.
Yeah, the cryonic.
Yeah. I would because super kick. I would gravitate to like Morbius.
Oh, the Morbius.
Never watched him wrestle.
Yeah,
in the video game. I loved him.
Yeah. He will be on Dark Side of the Ring this year.
Yes.
Who else? Like Booker T. I mean, but he was cool, but he didn't. I wasn't like upturn Jericho on WCW was fun. Like I don't hate like obviously when I was a kid I was very like how you said I was very
I was trying to get a barometer. Like I think Sting's a better wrestler than like DDP.
Yes, but I think DDP was more entertaining to watch for me. I don't know why.
Oh no, yeah, obviously it's subjective. Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. Like definitely not. No, I'm just like. Yeah, I think for me and maybe for Andy too, it's also Sting was a wrestler we really liked when we were 8. Like that's the thing for me with Sting.
But I was always super stubborn as a young kid fan too. Like when everyone's like, "Here's Hogan," I was like, "Bah, not Hogan."
I was at a point, but no, I Hogan was like never my favorite. It was Macho Man and like Warrior and like Hogan was. I did not like Hogan until later.
Perfect, Piper were my 3 guys. And then when I seen the Rockers, I was like, "That's my team."
Yeah, like the first bad guy I really liked was Vader. Like that was the first, like that's the bad guy I like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I was weird with that, but yeah, let's rewind. So we're back to NXT here, NXT AEW. Yeah, going to the Kenny thing. I know we were talking off camera. Like, there's so many opportunities when it comes to like where we think we're going because now the Impact deal. Like, Impact was a company where like we don't. Everyone that we pitched out there. Like, who was going to work with each other?
Yeah, nobody thought Impact because everyone's like, who watches Impact?
Yeah, well, not that. We just like, well, the Impact has done people dirty in the past, and we didn't think the working relationship was going to be there. And then here we are.
Yeah,
where Impact's the first one to cross the line.
Yeah, and it's so funny. Like Matt Hardy is part of it after the whole like they hated Matt Hardy, and Matt Hardy hated them, and then finally they were let him use the name and all that. But yeah, it's so weird.
I think it's a lot with Don Callis.
Yeah.
Don Callis is doing.
I think like Don Callis, but also like this past year and the pandemic, I think like a lot of guys within the industry just want to be benefiting the fans. Maybe not WWE right now, but I know like a lot of guys, I feel like they all have the same mentality of, hey, this has been tough. Let's do something cool.
Yeah.
I think Kenny also just has a vision of, and he said so much in interviews, like, let's work together. Like he like in Japan, people did that. Like he was a DDT guy forever. Then he came to New Japan and he's still doing DDT.
What do you think the next company to cross the line is?
What's that?
Are we all in agreement that we think New Japan's coming sooner than later?
I hope so.
Is Corona, but once the vaccine gets out, I mean, there's like storylines being built. Lance Archer had his Suzuki gun, his tracksuit on Dynamite this week, so it's like,
who's the first name that pops to AEW and you're like, holy shit?
From New Japan?
Yeah.
Okada.
Yeah, Okada's the one that would give the punch. I mean, the one that would make sense storyline-wise is Kota.
Yeah.
Is Kota the guy that Kenny used to tag with?
Yeah. And he's a champion now, too. He's their double champion.
I was just going to say, like, Tanahashi just...
Tanahashi's like, we got the legend, you know? Like,
to give Jericho something to do other than...
Who's the guy that Moxley is, like...
Kenta.
What if
Kenta?
Kenta's like, you're over here trying to fight everyone here like a badass, but you won't come fight me here. Now I'm here.
That's what everyone's thinking. Like, Kenta has the title shot. Moxley has the U.S. title. How do we get it? Do it on Dynamite.
Yeah.
Kenta lives in Florida.
Oh, he lives in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be like.
So like,
Oh, you're this big fucking badass,
just
John,
work it out. Like,
and you won't come to
yeah.
Japan. I had to come to you.
like if
Boom.
Moxley loses
Chill.
the match with Omega, that what they eventually have because Kenta, like that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I think this whole like Kenny just being this dirty villain and heel, and he's just like this awful human. But I do think he starts belt collecting. I think he will be Impact champion soon.
I think him and Rich Swann, if they don't do it's in April is their next pay-per-view. That's a long time to hold off. So I think maybe he wins it at Revolution, unless that match was already announced.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think because it doesn't seem like what are they going to do with Kenny at Revolution? Is he wrestling Moxley again? Is it going to be Swan? Like, what are they going to do?
And then you have all these like awesome, crazy storylines where like, are the Bucks leaving the Elite? Like, is the Elite completely disbanded at this point? The Bullet Club, obviously the real Bullet Club is mad, saying that the Bullet Club is back.
Is in the Bullet Club.
Yeah, and people are like, the Bullet Club is back, and the real Bullet Club is like, we never left. Type, you know what I mean?
And so there's the whole drama with Jay White and his contract, and he's in the Bullet Club.
So it's very interesting to see how this can play out.
I'm sure there's people want to. And now that the ex president of New Japan that left, whatever he was, CEO, whatever.
Yeah,
Harold Mage.
Harold Mage is the one that didn't want to work with AEW, so he's gone. So now there's a new guy. So.
And he wants to.
Yeah, I think that they want Kenny.
I still just see or think that it's interesting that in just about every company, someone from Bullet Club from one era is a champion right now. Yeah. Obviously, Gallows and Anderson, Omega,
Balor.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, the Finn Balor still being champion is the only thing that keeps me, like, wondering if there's going to be some connection there. Obviously, this seems the most far-fetched out of all of them, but it's still real to me, damn it.
So Kenny gets the title. He wins Impact's title, and he's like, I'm belt collecting, I'm the man.
Yeah, and he still has the
AAA
title.
The New Japan. Yeah. And then all of a sudden
Ibushi
comes out and goes, dude, you're not my friend. Like, you're not the same person I know. Yeah. And then him and Kenny fight on American and then that opens up New Japan America.
Yeah. It's once they can travel again, they're going to be
Moxley. Baby.
Moxley has a deal to do New Japan. Brody Lee did, which is a shame. Miro has it.
Jericho.
Jericho. I'm sure once they get going, everybody.
I still want Miro and Ishii. That's like my dream match for the year.
I want Miro. That's one guy that they've really dropped the ball with AEW.
I think they're slow playing them. They're slow. They couldn't bring him in and give him a.
No, you don't have to give him the world title.
Obviously, it's I'm pretty sure it seems like at Revolution it's going to be Miro and Orange Cassidy.
Yeah,
and that's what they're working toward.
Bring him in. Have him beat up a few job guys.
I think Orange Cassidy
for 4 weeks beats up job guys. It would have been much better than that stupid tag match he was in, where he was like getting beat up by Janela and Sonny Kiss. Yeah. Nothing against them, but it's Miro. He's the new star.
Yeah. The only thing right now in AEW that like when they're like, here comes the TNT champion, I'm like, Darby Allin's entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him as a champion.
I like Darby Allin because at least they have it where he gets beat up and he squeaks out that win like Mikey Iwep.
Yeah.
Well, I think this just goes back to what Brian said about how their mid card, nothing feels relevant in their mid card if you're not one of the top people that they're pushing. So I think that's the issue with Darby. Darby himself is awesome, but the way that the mid card is being booked.
Maybe I'm just every time Darby's in a match, I'm terrified that he's going to get seriously injured because he's like, put me in a body bag and throw me on my fucking neck.
Someone should say, hey, you don't have to take silly bumps every match.
Yeah, man. He doesn't care. Like he's a hazard to himself.
Like my thing, just in a pure kayfabe thing. Who is the third best singles wrestler in AEW? Like Kenny and John Moxley are 1 and 2. Who's number 3? Is it MJF? Is it Hangman? Is it Hangman is the guy they protect a little bit. Hangman.
Who's number 1?
Well, Kenny's the champ.
Kenny, and you said
Moxley.
From a cafe.
Cody.
Yeah, Cody always gets protected. Yeah, Cody because it's Cody, but he rarely wrestles lately. Like, when was the last time he?
That's true.
If he does, he's wrestling like some like lower guy. Which is fine. I'm fine with a squash match. But yeah, it's just like it feels like there should be a better defined pecking order a little bit in AEW. And I understand they're protecting Hangman too, because like I would guess like if I had to just look at a crystal ball, Hangman's probably got to take the belt off Omega at some point. That way down the line, probably like next year.
Yeah, I would say Orange Cassidy. Like if Darby Allin's TV champion, there's no reason Orange Cassidy can't be.
Oh yeah, he could definitely be TNT champion.
But now they're rumored to be doing trios titles. And I noticed when they came out, someone came out and said first time as a trio.
Yeah, with Seidel and Top Flight.
Yeah, I was like, and then I heard something about trios titles. So I think they like that. Cody likes all the old NWA things Dusty came up with, so I can see 6-man titles.
Yeah, and then they have the Women's Cup coming soon, where now that Impact is major players,
sign all the Impact women.
Maybe we see more Impact Wrestling females.
I hope they sign Taya Valkyrie. I really don't want her to go to WWE. I think they will misuse her, especially because she's 39.
And instead of signing her and being like, Taya, you're locked into AEW, do you think they give her a deal where like, yeah, you can go work wherever you want?
Sure, yeah, anywhere that's not WWE.
Yeah.
Where's she gonna want to work? Like she just left Impact. Mexico. She could go back to Mexico. Actually,
here's a question:
or maybe do like a Stardom.
Who's the first big name that signs literally the absolute free agent contract, and to the point where they have the leverage to tell WWE, "Listen, you want me to work here, but I may go over here and work. I may go like." Who's the first guy that has the leverage to do something like that?
Nobody.
They won't even let Brock do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, like that's if anyone were to be that guy, I feel like Brock.
Yeah, the closest you got was they let Brock do UFC. That's the closest you're ever going to get. Vince does not like to share.
Yeah, as long as Vince is alive, no one.
Yeah, it's a shame, man.
Now they can do everywhere else, but WWE.
Man, we're literally getting to the. We're literally this. We're this. I don't want to ever wish death on anybody, but we're one death away from literally
wrestling changing for the better.
Where wrestling could literally be like your dream matches when you had your fucking WWE toy, your WCW toy, and you could put them together and have a match. You're like, man, it would be so like we're at that point right now where we're that close where you could have the world champions of every company battle each other.
I don't think they would ever do that. Nobody would want their guy to lose. Like Impact's okay with it because AEW is so much above them. And like if the deal was, hey, let's have Kenny beat Drew McIntyre, I'd be like, no, we're not going to do that.
I mean, just to have the matches, let's say they're all non-title, then yeah,
they did that back in the day. They would do like Bob Backlund and Harley Race, and it's a 60-minute draw, or
so much fun.
Whoever's home territory was, they would win by count out.
It's his mind. There was only one wrestling. It's WWE.
Yeah,
not sports entertainment.
It's crazy.
Nothing else exists, and we're not even going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's get in. We're hitting the 47 or almost 45 mark. Wow. We're a little over. Let's get into our Rumble predictions here. So, we have.
Ryan's gonna bring up the list.
You have the list of matches.
Yeah, right now we just have the 2 Rumbles and the 2 main title matches is all they have announced officially.
Let's get the first one play. Let's go Drew McIntyre and Goldberg.
So I hope Drew wins.
That's the serious part. We don't know.
Goldberg is coming to eat a Claymore. Don't get worried. It'll be fine.
So here,
Goldberg will lay down like that?
Yes, of course he will. He's making money.
He's contracted 2 matches per year. So,
like, what's next for Goldberg if he wins, or what's next for Goldberg if he loses?
Nothing, hopefully.
No, he's going to do something. I think because they're going to anticipate that we could have crowds by the end of the year. We could have Saudi Arabia shows by the end of the year. That Goldberg gets Claymored, Goldberg goes away until we can come back in front of people.
Okay.
And not WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is going to sell out whether Goldberg's there or not.
We live in an era where Goldberg gets another world championship before he retires.
Probably.
Oh,
yeah, it could happen.
Terrifying.
I think he's going to beat Drew, and then Drew maybe wins the Royal Rumble, and then beats Goldberg at WrestleMania because they think that's a draw, and then more people watch WrestleMania if it's Goldberg with a title.
Yuck. I hate that.
That's what I'm thinking.
Hate that. Yeah, I'm hoping he eats a Claymore and calls it a day, or they wrestle.
He's not going to retire. He's going to probably wrestle like Roman or something.
If you could wrestle for 3 minutes twice a year and make millions,
here's the thing: if Goldberg can go longer than 38 seconds and did more than a fucking half-ass jackhammer and a spear, I would be more excited to see Dream. There's not a dream match I want to see with Goldberg.
See, I don't want to see him wrestle anymore. Just retire him.
I would watch Undertaker weekly before I'd watch Goldberg for 30 seconds.
Why?
I could see, like, literally, I could see his other match this year, like being in November when the vaccine's more widespread, that they do Goldberg and Roman, which they wanted to do at Mania last year, and they do it at like Saudi Arabia, whatever, Super Showdown.
I think Vince thinks people really want to see that. It's like, okay, spear.
It's horrible. It's terrible.
Then what do we get? Goldberg Edge?
Yeah.
Goldberg.
The Battle of the Spear. Rhino.
Goldberg Rhino. Yeah, there we go. Hey, get PPW, get on that. Goldberg against Rhino.
Goldberg's Charlotte Flair. She does a spear. No, I just don't. I don't want it. Do we get Money in the Bank cash in?
No.
At Royal Rumble?
They'll tease it, but no.
Do you think they hold off for Mania for an attempt cash in?
I
think they hold off until after Mania or just somewhere along the way Miz cashes in.
What they might do is wait until the Money in the Bank pay-per-view starts, and they say you have until the match starts to cash it in. And then the Miz is in the match. And
it's very possible. All right, that first one's done. Now we have Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens.
Last man standing for the Universal title.
Oh, is that last man standing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see handcuffs coming back into play for this one and maybe being the result of Kevin Owens losing, just because that's kind of been like Jey Uso brought that into the Hell in a Cell match, and then Kevin Owens then used it on SmackDown. So I could see them culminating the feud with Kevin Owens getting handcuffed and not being able to get up.
I think Roman wins. Kevin Owens gets speared through those Thunderdome screens, and that's going to be your big bump.
Yeah, I say Roman keeps the title at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I say and new.
I like it.
I think Kevin Owens gets.
I wouldn't hate it.
I think Kevin Owens gets a clean win over Roman. And he defines the odds. Everything happens. I think the Royal Rumble happens.
I
think it gets to like 20-ish up there.
Please.
Jey Uso's music hits.
Yep.
He starts coming down to the ring. And he goes, "I'm taking your spot." Roman goes into the Rumble.
And loses, that'd be fantastic.
Goes in that he's about
finish your second again.
Goes in that he's about to lose, or it comes down to him and whatever. I'm not saying this person wins the Rumble. I'm just saying he cost him the real head of the table, The Rock.
Oh wow.
Then we set up Roman Rock with no title on the line for a match at Mania.
Got 2 words that's going to stop that. Black Adam.
Mm-hmm.
He's filming Black Adam.
He could sneak in.
This is the one time.
I have 2 other words that's going to stop that. COVID-19.
Yeah.
The studio will not let him get there, even if he's been vaccinated. There's still that 5% chance the vaccine doesn't work.
The one movie he was supposed to do, he had a match and he had one hurt thing. He got hurt or something he couldn't film.
He ripped up his abs in that second Cena match.
Push it back 5 or 6 months, and that cost the studio millions of dollars.
Yeah. Well, even The Rock doesn't win, or even The Rock doesn't come in and cost him. I think he takes Jey Uso's spot after he loses, and he fails and doesn't win the Rumble still.
No.
Tony, you forgot to say one thing after you say Kevin Owens beats Roman Reigns clean.
What?
You forgot to say amen, because you need to pray for that. That's not what's happening.
I just think there's something bigger planned for Roman at Mania, and I don't necessarily...
Bigger than a world title match. Oh, you think The Rock's going to... Yeah, The Rock's not wrestling the rest.
Yeah, I kind of see it the other way around. I think there's something bigger for Kevin Owens at Mania other than the belt.
I don't know. I think.
Wait. What's bigger? What would be bigger than the belt?
Him beating Brock Lesnar.
Oh, okay.
I heard
that's not happening either.
I heard that they want to. That's one of the matches they're possibly throwing around for Brock.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Kevin Owens.
And then Brock versus someone else, and they said that Brock only has so many couple matches left, and he wants to put people over. I'm like,
okay, that'd be cool.
Here's
hey,
what
Austin was right about Otis. Austin called Otis, so I shouldn't be talking tough like this. Austin's better at this than I am.
So like, what happened, and we were like, what the fuck?
So like, I don't know if you guys watch Talking Smack at all, but like Talking Smack's pretty good, and Kevin Owens and Paul Heyman's have been like having back-to-back like promos on every episode of it, and recently the past couple have been mentioning Brock low-key. So I think if Roman were to beat Owens, that's fine. Then maybe have like Kevin Owens beat Brock at Mania. That still allows Roman to be a top heel, and that allows Kevin Owens to remain strong throughout, even losing so many times for the WWE Championship. It still makes him booked incredibly strong.
Okay.
By the way, just to kind of interject, because I just saw this. This is from the latest Wrestling Observer. There's nothing spoiler, because other than the spoilers, there's no spoiler. This is a quote from Meltzer. The reason there's been no television direction for the main matches at Mania and you don't hear anything about them is because there isn't any. Nice. The only thing we know is the top World Championship matches are not locked in. On SmackDown, Reigns has 2 different opponents that are being considered. So we'll fill in a blank here because we're going to do our picks later. So blank is not a lock. And at least as of this week, Nakamura was not one of the 2 other considerations.
Yeah,
even after the
Nakamura was a swerve. I think everyone wants Nakamura to win the Rumble, and it's not happening.
Same here. I just think people are excited to see him be a face again. That's where that's gonna.
And I think where you think Nakamura is going to do well in the Rumble, he's going to get eliminated by Cesaro, and you're going to see some Cesaro Nakamura matches, which I'm not opposed to.
I'd be fine with that.
I like that a lot.
All right, men's Rumble picks. This is the year where I think like it's up in the air, man. Like
There's no real clear.
there's no clear winner, but there is a guy who I love dearly. It's Austin's father, and he always says
Steve Blackman.
when a guy loses a whole bunch,
And he wins.
it usually turns into a big win. And the last time he said that this guy will be world champion, he was on almost an entire year losing streak, and he became the global champion, and that was Daniel Bryan. Maybe this is the year Daniel Bryan enters the Rumble
A lot of
and
people
finally
say that,
wins it.
but
With no crowd. That would be hilarious.
that sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. Then does he wrestle Roman? Is that the match at WrestleMania?
That's what I think happened. And that's what Meltzer said. So Meltzer said at least one of the directions is not Daniel Bryan. I think Daniel Bryan. I think it's up in the air. Obviously, they're changing their minds. It's absolutely up in the air. I think Daniel Bryan wins the Rumble. I think they don't put Daniel Bryan in the Rumble again without him winning it because of what happened the last two times.
Yeah.
I think one of the ideas is Goldberg beats Drew, and then Goldberg wrestles Roman, and both titles are on the line at WrestleMania.
Yuck.
I think that's one of the things they're thinking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the Fiend wins or it's gonna be the Fiend, Big E, Daniel Bryan, and anybody. What do you want? The final four, and then Fiend wins. Randy Orton. There we go.
So you got Fiend winning it.
Yeah,
I'll go Daniel.
because they'll have Fiend versus
True.
Goldberg. Drew. I
Oh,
guess.
Goldberg, yeah.
I don't know.
Or maybe he wins. He wants Orton. He doesn't want a title shot. He wants.
Yeah, something stupid like that. I don't know. I just see the Fiend winning it.
You got Brian. You're locked in for Daniel Bryan.
I'm locking in Daniel Bryan. Yeah.
All right, so I think my pick is going to go one of two ways based on how he's been booked. Do you want to talk about someone who's like
Ricochet?
nah.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
Someone who's had some losses recently, specifically
T-Bar.
he lost a title. And a guy who has shown, which is the complete opposite of the beginning of his WWE career, that he is now willing and able, not Chad Gable, to do anything that he can or will to make sure he wins a title.
Yes.
I think it's going to be Sami Zayn. And every year that I have picked Sami Zayn prior, which is literally like the last 3 years, it's been from a babyface underdog perspective. Now this year there is no crowd, and he's kind of like one of the most like hated like on-screen characters, as opposed to like in kayfabe wise, like most of the guys in the back don't like him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is the perfect year to have a screwy finish in the Rumble, in which so like how he won his ladder match between Styles himself and Jeff Hardy. He used handcuffs in that match, and now we have Kevin Owens using handcuffs. I don't think he's gonna.
Sami handcuffs his ankle to the bottom rope so he can't get
thrown over.
Oh my God, that's way better than anything I thought. That's genius. That's actually genius. But yeah, I think
cuts the rope and then throws him over.
There's a problem with the Fiend's in the Rumble. He's literally magic and can just make those cuffs
burn the
disappear.
rope.
And then if I was the Fiend, I would come in at 30 and just set everybody in the ring on fire. Then I win.
no.
Just make it disappear.
Your T-shirt looks like a cup you would buy from the Schuylkill Mall at Sugila's, or you would get from like Roller Roofs,
It's
the
designed-
soda cups.
It's the 80s cup design.
Yeah,
You got me this for Christmas.
I love
By
it.
the way, my secondary pick is if they have a Raw guy win it, is Brock Lesnar.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
Returns.
I originally picked Big E before a couple months ago.
That's my next question. Who are some returns you're thinking?
Brock Lesnar, Edge, I think should be ready to go now.
Edge and Randy Orton, then maybe they have another match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Maybe them announcing Carlito for the Legends show as a swerve, and maybe he'll be in the Rumble. But if not him, Andrade.
How about
Nice
Jay
comeback.
White? How about Jay White?
Oh, I'd cry. I would shed semi-grown man tears.
Well, you remember that year when everyone Kenny Omega's gonna be in the Royal Rumble? No,
Yeah, I don't think Jay White's gonna happen. I think Jay White's staying where he is.
Kenny Omega, and I'm one of those people.
See, I think this is another year where the Kenny Omega swerve would be the best year to do it because of how he's been going from brand to brand. But if WWE is WWE, it's not going to happen.
All right, Women's Rumble.
That one's a tough one because there's no clear. I'm gonna go Rhea Ripley.
That's your
No,
pick.
that was
No, I like
too.
Alexa Bliss.
Alexa
Bliss
Bliss?
because she's I've done the Fiend, and then my second pick is
And the Fiend wins both Rumbles.
and then my third Charlotte, and fourth is Bailey.
You would have had Kurt very happy. He thinks Rhea Ripley's winning
Really?
the Rumble. Yeah.
I was thinking Ripley, but now that everybody's saying it, I'm going to say we got to make a new star, Bianca Belair.
Damn, you took my pick.
I was actually gonna go Bianca Belair as well. I think this is Bianca's year.
But remember, this is WWE, and they like to crush your dreams.
That's true.
Bliss is winning.
Yeah.
I love her, but
Now, wait a second. Now, what if they go real big swerve within the women's one, and they actually run back Trish and Sasha, and Trish wins the Rumble?
I'd be okay if Trish won the Royal Rumble.
I think a lot of people would be okay if two Canadians won the Rumble, one of them being Trish and one of them were Sami Zayn.
I hope we don't get Kelly. We don't need her. And again, she's going to do the same crappy stuff she always does.
What if we see? I don't think it'll happen because of the whole thing. But
I think they should put what's her name?
What if
Celeste?
What if we get that little bit of a teaser that we got a couple Rumbles ago when someone was trying so hard to get that win over her and she couldn't do it, and the only time she ever had any success over her ever was eliminating her in the Rumble. She comes in this year off what she thought was career-ending injury and wins the Royal Rumble to challenge Asuka. Is Ember Moon?
No,
Not happening.
no.
Tried.
Here's my secondary pick. My
I really
secondary
want to
pick.
see Ember Moon Asuka again. I really want to see that.
I was thinking about Rhea. Rhea could happen because then she can kind of go up and call her shot. You can put her wherever. And it's funny. I made up the. You're close. I saw that thing where somebody could win the Rumble and say, "I don't want a title shot." And I think if anybody does that, it's going to be Ronda Rousey. I think she might win the Rumble and say, "I don't want a title. I want Becky Lynch. I want to avenge my loss."
So I think Becky comes out,
I think she's ready to go.
and I think she gets screwed by Ronda.
That is also something I thought could happen.
Yeah.
That would be good continuity too, because Becky took someone's spot the year she won, so that would be great continuity.
Yeah.
Maybe Baszler comes out and Ronda's like, "Nope, it's my turn."
It comes down to Becky and Shayna Baszler. And
I don't think Baszler's winning the Rumble. I don't think.
Cue Ronda's music, and she comes out and screws Becky, and Shayna Baszler wins the Rumble.
I can't.
Damn it.
They haven't been using her. I mean,
You
you never know. But
they weren't using her, stuck her with a tag
Maybe
team,
for
and
an
now lost
elimination
the tag
spot.
team.
maybe for elimination spot earlier, but not necessarily winning.
Yeah.
Unless they do unless somehow Charlotte beats Asuka, which could always happen.
Well,
and they run the Charlotte Lacey feud, and Lacey wins the Rumble.
Maybe, yeah,
so here's where I.
Okay. Indulge me here real quick. It comes down to Lacey and Charlotte, and they do the same thing from 1992, where Rick goes to shake Charlotte's hand and pulls her out like Hogan did.
She just starts wooing.
The only reason I want Baszler, I want either Baszler or Bianca. I want Bianca more. But the only reason I throw out that hope for the NXT person is because last year's Rumble, the cash-in was on an NXT superstar.
Mm-hmm.
And now this year, the NXT superstar gets their call-up in main event roster
They
spot.
did kind of forget about NXT. Remember, they were in Survivor Series last year and this year.
Well, they have to include NXT in this Rumble because they don't have enough women.
Yeah. We can do enough surprises. I think you're gonna get some NXT women in the Rumble. They're usually loaded with them. Men, not so much. You might get like one or two.
That's why I think maybe someone goes up from NXT and gets a push. Because right now, too, on NXT,
I would say
when it comes to their women's division, you have if Rhea gets called up, right? You have Tony Storm.
Called up, yeah.
You have Tony Storm. You have Gargano's wife. I always forget her name. Candice. You have Gonzalez. You have now the Shotzi you're pushing to the moon, and now you're sitting there with Io,
Dakota Kai.
Io and Dakota. So you have like 7 women who could be your world.
They have another Japanese woman coming in too, Sari.
Yeah, Sari, she's pretty good.
Sari, and then the Chinese girl is doing that really cool gimmick where she's like part of this.
Yeah, Zia
Lee. There's like 7 women who can be champions at some point.
I say that they might put Raquel in there just to see how she does.
Yeah,
and
because Rhea
and maybe Io.
Yeah, because Rhea's call up doesn't have to be for a title. She's so over, and she proved herself in Rumbles and in Survivor Series and in War Games that she can just be a major player without being a champion.
And I think they'll put Shotzi in it.
Yeah, she can drive her tank down. Yeah, that's a good visual.
She uses her tank to survive.
And maybe maybe like Tony Storm, maybe.
So
we have Kofi injured this year. No Kofi spot this year.
That's okay. We can.
Speaking of returns, is Naomi ready to come back yet?
Oh,
That's true, too.
yeah. I didn't even think about her. I think what's her name should be in it. What was her? She had one name. She's like kind of muscular. She still is in good shape. Caitlin.
Yeah.
Caitlin.
Yes.
And she hasn't come back because they've kind of mined the
Mercedes Martinez.
Yeah, she might be in it. They the well of women like legends.
Yeah.
They've kind of used them all.
Yeah.
I mean, James.
Rockin' Robin.
Oh gosh, she's still alive. Is
I
she?
think so.
Yeah, Jazz maybe.
She's gonna be on Rockin' Robin's gonna be on the dark side of the ring this year.
I can't use her because she's no longer with us.
China.
It's China. Yeah. Yeah.
Asia, is she still around from WCW?
I know Midnight passed away. I think Asia might still be around.
Yeah, I don't think Candice Michelle can wrestle anymore because she hasn't made one.
Isn't Rosemary
Victoria
not under contract?
Who? Yeah, no. Who just left there?
Iwep.
Was it Rosemary? Taya. I know Taya left. Yeah.
Rosemary left a while ago too.
She was on the paper, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
The pay-per-view.
Yeah, she was in the
I
paper.
think Susan should show up.
Yeah.
Karen. I
Stiff.
love her. I love that character. I love her whole three faces of Sue.
Oh, I got a men's return.
Oh, I have no idea.
Rob Van Dam.
Oh, God, everybody
I
should-
mean,
if you want to get adult, you bring in Rob Van Dam. And then what's her name can be in the women's.
Kate Forbes, baby.
oh my god, I love it.
Is what's her name from NWA under contract?
Allison Kay, no.
The girl who was like
well, yeah, the guy with the chick with Nick Aldis. I think she is.
yeah.
Camille? Yeah, I think so.
I think Rob Van
There might be some awkwardness there. I don't know how that ended with her and Strowman.
Fair. I think Rob Van Dam would lead me to my next question and like my answer. Who do you think is going to be an Iron Man or Iron Woman? And the reason,
real quick, you know, I put in the Rumble just because they teased him wrestling. Adam Pearce, throw him in the Rumble.
Yeah.
True.
Throw Scrap Daddy in the Rumble.
I think, in reference to Rob Van Dam, I think Matt Riddle's going to be your Iron Man this year.
I think Adam will be an
Adam
Iron
Cole?
Man, but it won't be Adam Pearce. I think Adam Cole, baby,
I can see that.
goes Iron Man this year.
AJ Styles.
Because I think you can't have NXT go over, but you need NXT to look strong to help them in. Because I'm trying to think like WWE, where you're like, well, if you make them look strong, but they can't win, then they look strong, and maybe that'll make more people go watch it. And we need to beat AEW in the ratings.
What's the other one? The one that looks like paper plates on his face of Retribution, not T-Bar.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Slapjack.
Shane Thorne.
Who else you have for Iron Man for the? You said AJ.
AJ, and then Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I would love to see. Like, I would just give everybody what like the ultimate fan source. Just have Daniel Bryan go wire to wire.
Number one and win the whole thing. Stay in. He just have to everybody.
I think him entering at number one would be like.
Who's your first two?
Ricochet, and someone from SmackDown. Biggie.
I think Braun Strowman draws number one
I
or two.
forgot about Braun Strowman.
Braun draws one or two.
Maybe I see it.
Yeah.
Gets like
They like to have Elias draw one or two because of the entrance.
Yeah.
But he doesn't sing anymore, so maybe they don't.
yeah.
And they did work around that in the 2018 Rumble. He came out like 6th, but that's when like Balor was on the outside and Heath Slater was on the stage, and they just kept on hitting Slater. So like he doesn't have to be one, but
I wonder if any of those guys that got fired will come back, like just for a one shot. Like I'm sure, like
Zack
is
Ryder.
he under? Yeah, Zach. Are they under exclusive contracts to Impact? I doubt it.
Eric Rowan.
Eric Rowan, yeah.
He's a big guy. They like their big
Oh
guys.
wait, that would actually be like a really cool 1 and 2 if Brian were number 1 and they had Eric Rowan as number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Iron Man or Iron Woman.
Shayna.
Shayna, yeah.
I think you got Iron Woman is someone has to be able to work.
Shotzi Blackheart.
Could do that.
Maybe.
Unless like both the Garganos are in the Rumble, I could see Johnny being an Iron Man and Candice being an Iron Woman.
Yeah.
Maybe
They would milk that.
Maybe Bailey.
Bailey would be good, yeah.
Yeah.
is like number one and is in like
Well,
the
last
top.
year, Banks was the Iron Woman, right?
Or was that the year before?
I remember she was wearing Iron Man gear when she did it.
Natty was in there for like almost an hour, and
Right,
two other
Natty was last. Natty, it was Natty and one other person. I think it was Natty and Banks, or Natty and
No, it's 3 people.
If you go with my other the idea I brought up with Lacey, where they have Rick pull Charlotte out, maybe Charlotte comes in at number 3, and it's one of those. Hey, her dad wanted this number.
Here's the thing too. I think some people who you think could be clear winners get eliminated early. I think Charlotte's one of those people who get eliminated early.
Like that. So that way, like, hey.
Like I think this is the year where they have to do something where it's like, all right, it could be anybody's game.
Well, I think one of the good things about this year is in both Rumbles there is no clear winner. Like it's not like the Seth Rollins one, like you said, Seth and Becky. There's nobody like that this time.
Why I'm really excited about this year's Rumble. Like it's up there.
Like literally, the betting favorites right now are Daniel Bryan and Bianca Belair. Like, and I don't know if anybody's 100% on them.
Yeah. And with you saying that there's apparently no clear booking plans for either main title, that's why I think the Sami Zayn one could still work, because with his current gimmick, he could somehow get screwed out of his title shot.
If you put it on the middle and the women are going on last, you could do just about anybody at that point.
The next Truth Behind Illusion, the conspiracy of Sami Zayn.
And Jericho, conspiracy
talking about.
Wasn't that clearly written?
Yeah. Do we get Bobby Lashley Rumble?
I don't think he's gonna win it. No, he's U.S. champion,
or even an Iron Man.
He could. I don't know if a guy that big wants to go that long.
I think Bobby Lashley has enough steam to be in there for 40 minutes.
I think a good guy to do it if you're going to try to actually seriously push him and do this something this dumb losing streak thing. Is if somehow Ricochet does worm his way in, or let him have a long run.
Yeah,
Chad Gable.
What about Mustafa?
Yeah,
I heard some too that Jason Jordan is working for a comeback. That he's like medically clear, he's medically cleared. He just got to get back in. We get Team Alpha back.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love it.
He might be able to get in enough to get thrown on the top rope.
Yeah. Any legends? I mean, besides Rob Van Dam, any legends?
Slaughter.
Does Edge count?
Yeah, no, we'll count it.
I think he's officially
Kane. Does Kane count?
Kane, I think would count.
The mayor. Big Show. Does Big Show count?
There is a WWE Hall of Famer who is now out of work and is living in Florida.
Who's that? Hulk Hogan.
I was thinking of a different orange guy, actually.
Hey, if Hulk Hogan could, he would.
Donald Trump wins the Royal Rumble.
I don't know about winning.
Could you imagine?
You're out. Best winner.
Jump out of the ring.
I mean, I'm the best winner ever.
That thought alone just like stopped.
He's Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Well, they are trying to get him out of the Hall of Fame, but it'll never happen because he too much political.
Well, he's also friends with the owner of the company, so it's like
Tucker killed someone. He's
yeah, it's very true. All right, guys. Anything in rapping you want to put out there? Wrap it up.
I love the Royal Rumble. That's all I want to put out. It's all. This is what makes the Royal Rumble fun. It's my favorite match of the year. Even if it's not the best match, it's a fun one.
Even if Raw really sucks and SmackDown sucks, I'll still watch the Rumble.
Yeah, my favorite pay-per-view of the year, unless they bring King of the Ring back.
Oh, and Austin Creed, Xavier Woods has been pushing very strongly for that to return.
I want to return as a pay-per-view, not a tournament throughout SmackDown week.
The last couple of times when they did it, it was on TV. It was.
The only thing that kind of gives me hope that the King of the Ring is not out of the woods is they keep hanging on to the Baron Corbin as a king thing.
Yeah.
I think I've seen enough King of the Ring in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I
was never big on it. I mean, it's cool. It's a tournament, but
the tournaments are fun. Except I want them in one night.
I'd rather it all in one night. I just don't like when the guy in it has to be the king.
Just watch WrestleMania 4 on the network, Tony. You'll love it.
Yeah. You know what? Someone that I don't think we've mentioned at all, but I could see anyone from Legado, Phantasma, like that stable. I could see any of them being in the Rumble.
They always throw somebody you don't expect, like when they put Casey Catanzaro and she's been like NXT once.
Yeah,
I can see like a Jake Atlas in there, or somebody just is like, hey, here's a guy.
Yeah, I can see that.
The Rock's daughter,
Walter, would be nice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for the Patreon episode.
Walter and the Fiend, they're the final. Fiend, Keith Lee, and Goldberg are the final four.
Walter just sets his hand on fire and chops the Fiend.
Somewhere I need Dragunov in there.
I would just turn the TV off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's next weekend. If you're bored this Saturday, you can check out the DCW or Conor McGregor's fighting this Saturday if you're into that. So that'll do it for Patreon. Thank you guys so much for the continued support. Let people know about us. If you're paying, you're pretty much our biggest mouthpieces right now. We do have new merchandise out. If you want it, it's on the merch page. We put all of the older logos up as well. We tried T Public, but they fired us. Like I said, hopefully we can figure out this little echo thing. It wasn't listening, but for me, it wasn't make or break. So I hope it wasn't for you guys. Just let us work out this new board. We're still figuring things out. Once again, thank you for the continued support. We're going to get out of here with some Billy Trey, and we'll see you guys next time.